Hey guys, MCU Collector here with a new video. I know it's been a little bit of time since I reviewed Marvel Legends figure, so today is a special one because I received my pre-order from GameStop, the Marvel Legends fan channel exclusive, the X-Men love triangle of Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. And this is the pack of all packs. My most anticipated for the year, even above MCU figures. Very excited for this one. I know that, you know, at Comic-Con it was revealed they recreated that poster and we saw a new Jean Grey figure and everyone was going crazy, and then finally they showed it and everything, and I was like, oh, you know, I want a ponytail head sculpt for the animated series because that's what I remember watching growing up. And then finally when they showed the package, I'm like, there it is. How amazing is that? So really cool. Did we need another Wolverine figure? No, we absolutely did not, because we have so many this year and I've lost count. I want to say it's close to 10 this year. You know, if you guys count, let me know down in the comments below. But I've lost track, and I know that there's been so many. But it's basically a reissue. The cool thing is we get the damaged cowl on this one. We get the bone claws. So very cool things with it, yes. But it wasn't super necessary. I think it's just a way for us to spend more money to get this Jean Grey figure. But the Jean Grey figure, an additional head sculpt, and I must say Wolverine has 2 additional head sculpts, and then he also has the cowl down for the unmasked head. So that is pretty awesome. It's loaded with heads, you could see. And then Cyclops, we didn't need another Cyclops. However, this is a great Cyclops figure. You know, the Jim Lee Cyclops figure was huge. Everybody wanted it. Everybody loved it. This one's a little bit different. It's a much darker blue. And then he has the leather jacket look. So that's pretty awesome. And again, I think that's something from the animated series. Something very exciting that people wanted. People were customizing using their Old Man Logan figure. And then, you know, cracking open the torso piece and swapping out the arms and everything. So a lot of cool things. I am very excited about it. And we get 2 additional head sculpts on there. So that is pretty cool. And then we also get, of course, the 2-finger using the visor. And everything. So this is just an awesome pack. I love the colors, just like the X Factor 2-pack of Havoc and Polaris. We get the cool colors with the X logo up there. We get some awesome artwork on the side. This is from the X-Men trading cards in the 90s. So really cool. Here is a look at those cards, and then we get a look at the back of the cards there. I'll actually have a link to my Instagram. You can actually see individual ones of these. I'm not going to go over them for you guys. The UPC is here, but you can also get that from my Instagram account because it is a fan channel exclusive. That UPC really probably won't do you any good. So without further ado, let's get right to it and open these guys up. And here are the figures out of the package. Just kidding, these are the old ones. We will do a comparison with these guys. Now let's see the actual new ones. Okay, and here are the new ones out of the package, and some really good things. Some really weird things about this stuff too. The colors seem kind of off, and I'm trying to get the lighting and the settings and everything to really show it off. So these are the Wolverine and Cyclops specifically are very different from their earlier releases. And I'll talk about it and show side-by-side comparisons. I'm going to try to get this video to be short, so you won't see a whole lot of size comparisons or a whole lot of the team together because it would just be too long. I want to try and quickly get through this, show you guys the differences, and kind of go from there. The highlight of this pack, of course, is the Jean Grey. So first off, let's actually look at Jean Grey first, get that out of the way, then we'll look at Wolverine and then Cyclops. Okay, so right away we're just going to go right into the articulation for Jean Grey. So she can look all the way down with her hair going straight back, which looks crazy. You're not going to get any motion going up because that hair is just going to get right in the way with her back there. You get a full swivel in there and you get a little bit of pivot, and almost feels kind of wobbly on there. It's not too big of a deal. Shoulders can go up that high. You can get a full rotation, but you have to be careful of this shoulder piece because that is part of the sculpt. Single jointed elbow, so you're going to get that much bend in there, just about 90 degrees. So there is a swivel at the elbow as well. Wrists also swivel and they hinge. No waist crunch or waist swivel on a female figure. Get an ab crunch, so diaphragm joint, so she's gonna pivot to the side that much, pivot to the side that much. She's gonna go forward tiny bit. She's gonna go back a little bit, but again the hair is gonna kind of hinder that some. But that side to side pivot motion on this diaphragm joint is actually really good. Legs only go out that far apart, not a whole lot. She can kick forward very high. Her leg goes back a little bit. There is an upper thigh cut there. She has a double jointed knee, which works quite well. Foot hinges all the way down. Foot hinges up, you need to be careful with it, and then ankle pivot. So very good articulation for her, other than doing the splits, not getting a whole lot of motion in there. So very good. So now let's get in for a closer look on her. Okay, so here she is up close. So I had mentioned earlier a couple of things on how they look. So for me, these figures really scream animated series. So it's just the coloring of it, that's what it reminds me. Now this is not really a yellow color, it's an orangish yellow, similar to like the Tiger Stripe Wolverine, same type of orangey yellow color, so it's not real yellow, which is something that was reminiscent of the animated series, which the ponytail head sculpt goes to. So that's kind of how it looks to me. The figure looks really good. It's such an improvement over this Rocket Raccoon wave Jean Grey. Not that this was a hugely terrible figure. The legs weren't very good. She had the ball hip joints. But there were some very good things about this figure. Very sought after figure that got pretty high up in price. I recently sold mine once, you know, this one was kind of coming up. This one was my kids. You could see the nose is kind of messed up. A paint chip right there. They didn't really take care of it. I had gotten it for them at a time where it wasn't really a valuable figure. Even had, you know, fingernail polish, something that the new one does not. So some cool things. We actually get reused belt. So the belt on the new Jean Grey is actually the same as this one here, just painted obviously the different colors. So it's a darker blue instead of this metallic blue that we see here. Shoulder pads are a darker blue and they match the gauntlet pieces, which are the same, of course, just different color. And then we get some gold here on the side, whatever those pouches or pads are. We get a little metallic blue right on her arms though, but the rest of the figure is not a metallic blue. You can see throughout just that orangey yellow color. But I think it looks really good. Now I have a little paint defect right there, a little smudge. Not a big deal to me. On the back you could see some of the blue bleed through the yellow where the blue and the yellow meet. Not a big deal. You know, not as crisp a line there, but not really an issue, nothing that really bothers me a whole lot. So there's the one head sculpt. This would be the comic representation. Ponytail is based on the animated series, so let's pop that on. Bam! And that looks pretty good. From the side, it looks great. From straight on, there's something about it. The lips are just way too big, but I'm very happy to actually have this version of the head sculpt. The eyes are very green and painted nicely. Eyebrows are good. So it's very good. And then if you can't, I don't know if you can really see it, but you actually get that little design right there. Her hair kind of gets in the way of it. If I get the light, you can see right there, it's actually a little bit of a darker blue right on that middle spot right there on her forehead. So that's pretty cool that they got, you know, the little bit of attention to detail, even though it's really not too visible. But yeah, looks really, really good. Let's move on to Wolverine. Okay, so this Wolverine is pretty cool. So he's a very bright yellow with very dark blue. So that's different from the previous Tiger Stripe one from the Apocalypse wave, where it was more of the orange yellow that matched Jean Grey, and then the lighter blue. So big difference between the two there. Other than that, it's basically the same. We get the same head sculpt that's actually from this one included, so you can see the difference in the yellows there. This one had gums painted. This one really doesn't. It's just the teeth, the white painted, so that's kind of the difference there. But otherwise, not a whole lot. We get this additional unmasked head sculpt. We've seen this used before. I believe this was the Jubilee Wave one, where we actually get the cowl that's going to kind of drape over his shoulders. But the big highlight here is this new head sculpt, which looks very good. So it's the damaged cowl, so you can see like bullet holes or whatever. You can kind of use your imagination on how you want that to be. But that looks pretty good. They're not too flimsy. Even though that's a pretty thin piece, you still want to be careful with it. It's kind of all nicked up and scratched up. He's got hair coming through, so that's pretty cool. Got some yellow in his hair, so kind of missed it there. But looks really good. You can see it's all kind of scratched up there. So I really like the way that came out. Teeth look good, tongue, and everything looks good. So the paint on there is really good. I really like it. And then we get these bone claws. So the bone claws look great. They're just done in a beige color, and it's not, I don't know if it's just kind of the plastic on how it came out looking. So it's not like there's a wash on it or anything, but it does kind of have a realistic bone color look. but you can kind of tell that it's plastic. But I think they serve its purpose very well. Now, they are not removable, so I'm not going to be pulling on that because they're just not going to come out. They're not like the clawed hands, which I actually forgot are included in the package. So we got the standard ones. These are not like the X-Force ones, which had the new claws. So he does come with the claw hands. Again, these claws are removable. These bone claws are not removable. I would not take them out if I were you. So here's one last look between the two. And you can see there. Oh, and then the other thing is, so I talk about this all the time, how they sculpt on the arm hair and then they never paint it on. So same thing here. But one thing that's very different, you can see that this new one right here, his arms are a lot darker in color. Now, that's kind of deceiving because if you can kind of see, the inside of his arm is lighter and then the outside is darker. So they did a wash or something on the outside of his arm only. For some reason, I don't know if that's just because it's going to tan on the outside and not tan on the inside, but it looks kind of funny, and I think maybe the purpose was to kind of represent the arm hair color, but it just kind of looks weird. Like you could see where the color changes right there on the arm. It's just kind of weird looking at it straight on. You can see two shades of skin color going there, so darker into a lighter color. It's just kind of weird, but there he is. As far as articulation, it's the same as this guy, but I will go over it quickly here. So this head, you got to be careful because this head is on there very loose. You can see it could just pop, slides on and off very, very easily. We can get this one on there, the unmasked one. Actually, let's put the cowl over it, so you can put that over the neck peg. And it fits kind of funky. It was kind of made for a different design and they just kind of keep reusing it. So it's kind of, it sits on there a little funky. So you see it sits kind of high, kind of have to force it down a little bit. And there we go there. Now this to me actually looks kind of small. So if you look at it compared, the head looks a little bit small to me. I don't like it as much. Something about his lips are pretty pink in color. So it looks, it's not the best in my opinion. We'll pop that off. We'll get the other head sculpt on. I actually really like this one, but the highlight is this new damaged cowl one. I think looks really good, but that looks very good as well. But anyway, he can look all the way down, can look up a little bit. We're going to zoom out here so we can take a look at his articulation. Arms go up that high, the shoulder piece moves with it, but you're not going to get it much more than that. You get a full swivel there. There is the butterfly joint, so you can get the shoulder to go out back that much. You can get it to go forward that much, which is great to kind of give it that cross body movement there, so that's very good. Ab crunch crunches down very far, crunches back a nice amount as well. There is the waist swivel in there. You just kind of have to adjust the belt around as needed. Legs go out that far apart. You can't kick forward very, very high. Leg goes back a little bit. Upper thigh cut there. Double jointed knee, which works well. There is a boot swivel in there, which I don't know if I ever really noticed that before. Foot hinges down, hinges up, and then you do get ankle pivot. Forgot there is a double jointed elbow, but it's hard because his bicep is huge. And then one thing on here with the wrist, you get the swivel and then you get a hinge, and you get a crazy hinge going back. That's probably the deepest hinge I've ever seen going back. It goes most of the way of the palm on there, so lots of hinge there. So that's Wolverine. Now let's move on to Cyclops. Okay, and here is the Cyclops figure. This figure is very good and I'm very happy with it. Again, it really reminds me of the animated series because he has the much darker blue with the much brighter yellow. Comparing to the Warlock wave, you could see the blue is much brighter, the yellow is darker. I mean, even the strap here was more of the orange yellow color, so there's big differences there. Head sculpts are the same. This uses the leather jacket that came with the Old Man Logan figure. As you can see, the jacket is the same, whereas the fur is painted a different color. One thing that I would have rather have had though are these sleeves with the double jointed elbow. Rather, we get the new jacketed sleeves, which has the single elbow and the swivel at the elbow. The problem for me is these arms are much bigger than the shoulder the shoulder joint there, so it looks odd to me. That shoulder, if it was bigger, it'd be much better. So looking at it, the arms just look a little bit big for me. I would have liked these ones. Not sure why they didn't. I don't know if these arms are too short or something. You know, made for Logan, it works out well since, you know, he's kind of a stocky character, but I don't know. They seem to be about the same length if you extend out the elbow. Yeah, I don't know. I would have preferred these arms for the double jointed elbow, but you know, these ones, they serve their purpose, I guess. If you switch out the hand, which Cyclops does come with one interchangeable hand, so he has 2 fists, and then he comes with the visor using hand, the 2 fingers, of course, like every Cyclops figure comes with. So you actually can use that quite well with these jacketed arms. Works out pretty good. We get X logo there on that shoulder, X logo on that shoulder. Nothing going on. We get a nice wash to give it that realistic leather look to it. This strap is done in a very bright yellow, and it feels very rubbery compared. This one was kind of hard. This one's super rubbery and soft. We don't get that gold paint around here. We just get a red and black X, and it just looks a little sloppy because I think it's so soft. It just looks a little warped. And then these pieces, the floating pieces, all feel very rubbery as well, and they're done, I think maybe it's because of the plastic color that they use, because it's a brighter color. It just seems and feels a little bit more flimsy to me. Same with the legs. They're just a very bright yellow. Just looks kind of weird. But overall, a very good looking figure because I really like the way the bright yellow and the dark blue work together. So there he is. He also comes with 2 additional interchangeable heads. So we're going to pop this one off. And here's the first of the 2 additional heads. So that one looks really good. I like the way that looks with the hair flowing to the side. This one, he has his eyebrows exposed over the red sunglasses. And then we have this one here with a different set of sunglasses. And I like this one a little bit more. This one, he's got a big old chin going there, and that one looks really good. Nice little touch. They actually have the back of the sunglasses behind his ear painted there. So a nice little attention to detail. They did do that on this one as well. Of these 2 head sculpts, I think I like this one a lot more than this one. This one reminds me more of the animated series, but this one I think is going to be more comic based. So because, you know, I was a huge fan of the animated series, I'm probably going to display it with this head. So there we go. Now let's look at his articulation. So I'm kind of losing track here. So articulation wise, he can look all the way down, which is good. He can look all the way up, which is good. You get full swivel in there, of course. A little bit of pivot. Shoulders go up pretty high. You get full rotation. You get a swivel, upper bicep swivel there. Again, single jointed elbow, which only gives you 90 degrees, maybe a tiny bit more. And there's a swivel at the elbow. Wrists swivel and they hinge. Ab, you can work the ab crunch quite well. You can see how flimsy kind of that gets there, and I kind of undid the strap, and I got to figure out how to do that now. Waist swivel in there, legs go out that far apart. It is bucky cap, upper thigh cut, double jointed knee. I almost said elbow. I know I say that a lot. I just kind of hyperextended the leg there. Oh, look at that. It kind of forced it a little bit. That's not good. So be careful when doing that. You don't want to do what I did. You know, this pin feels like it's popping out. Kind of put that in place. So be careful with your figures. So there is a boot cut there. Foot hinges down. Foot hinges up. And you get ankle pivot. And he has the tiny bucky cap feet. So there it is for Cyclops. Okay, and here are the final side-by-side comparisons of all 3 figures, or all 6 figures in this case. Very happy with the 2-pack. It's lived up to what I wanted from it, especially the Jean Grey figure. The Wolverine is a nice touch because the bone claws are awesome. The damaged cowl head is pretty cool. It's nice that we get kind of Cyclops, Scott Summers heads without the visor. So all those things are pretty cool. I love the animated series look to the figures, so I'm very pleased with it from that sense. Last I saw, which was I think yesterday, GameStop had these available online. Most pre-orders and everything, they were kind of expected in December. So for whatever reason, GameStop seems to be getting everything first, which is pretty cool. It's nice to have an actual physical store that's getting these things that people can go into and grab. So they're hitting GameStops now. and then in the next few days, depending on where you are from. But there it is. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you guys think of these figures? Do they live up to your expectations? Are you happy? Are you getting them? Are they on the way? Let me know all your thoughts. Also, if you guys like the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.